Hi teachers, there are several options to work with software that can help you in creating documents. And this is grouped under Office software. And I'm going to tell you the options. Just a little bit of background of the last time. We talked about word processing, which is one part. We talked about spreadsheets and we talked about presentation creation. Those are all types of documents that we can create, and we need software to help us do that. Let me just bring a little bit of background on the history. Yeah, we a long time ago, when I didn't have as much gray hair as I have now, we had a personal computer, and we just had single tools that worked on it. We could do Word documentation with Word Perfect. Some people might even know that. I don't think you know that. Or we have spreadsheets with one, two, three, and that were separate single tools that you could use on a personal computer. But then there has been a lot of development. We start grouping them under one package, which contained the word processing and the spreadsheet and the presentation tools. And the first one that made that into a success was Microsoft. And the other thing that helped is you could use a mouse and you could click. Before that, you need to put function, so printing was F7, etc. But now you could just click on a printer icon and you can start doing it. And it was integrated. So this is one of the first Office tools was Microsoft Office, integrated on a personal computer. But you need to pay for Microsoft software. So you might know there is free software like we have in Linux. You also have something similar, which is LibreOffice. So it's the same. You also got a package. You can do spreadsheets, you can do Word, you can do word processing, I should say. You could do calculations, and you can do presentations. And that is something similar like Microsoft Office. And Microsoft Office is the things you might know: Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And then in LibreOffice, you got similar packages to do your word processing, your calculations, and your presentations. But it's not finished yet, because there are other people who like to facilitate. And for example, a lot of things is happening when everybody was moving into the internet. So on an online basis, we got something like Google Docs, and that is fully online. And you can also work together with that. So if you look at this part, we got Microsoft Office, which is the traditional, and everybody uses Word and Excel for word processing. A lot of people say I'm using Word, yeah, because a lot of people do. But it's about the program is Word, and the functionality is word processing. And then with Google, you can do it online, and with LibreOffice, you can do it without any cost, which is also nice for the software. What is important? What are the types of things that you can do? Yeah, you can start doing making your own documents. You're working with your own documents. You're creating documents, and you're storing documents. Yeah, on the right side you see what you call a disk. Yeah, you put your documents there so you can store them, and afterwards you can edit them again, working on the same document. But also other people can read it. Yeah, so that's nice. If you created somebody else can read it. But it's also nice if you can start making standard documents so people can start reusing it. Yeah, have versions. Like for example, we could create a standard form where we inform the parents of the student on the progress that their students, that their children are making. Yeah, so we make one. We think it looks nice. Everybody can reuse it, and we say, maybe we need to change that, and we make a new version of it. Yeah, the newest version where we put some additional information, or we take some information away. The next thing we can do with those documents is updating those common documents that we say you are the one that's responsible for the standard documents. Yeah, and maybe in the end we can say we're working together on those documents. actively we're discussing, and we are both behind our computer or our smartphone, and we can say, oh, let's adjust that, and you see that in real life. That can happen if you are fully online. So those are all elements that we have to, yeah, improve working with documents from me as a single person to using it in a group. So for example, if you are teachers, you might think, are there any standard documents that we'd like to create together and that we can reuse them? Yeah, because thinking about it together, it's just a one-time action, and afterwards you can benefit of the work that you did as a team. So what are those Office suites? Yeah, we call those an Office suite because the suite includes the word processing, the spreadsheet, and the presentation. So I already said we got Microsoft Office, which we need to pay for if we want to use it, but it's common. Yeah, in business, a lot of people are using Microsoft Office. We got an option to use LibreOffice, where we don't pay any licenses. And we got the option, if we work a lot online, to use Google Docs. Yeah. And there you see the names. Yeah. Everybody within Microsoft, we know it's called Word and Excel and it's PowerPoint. And a similar thing is called in LibreOffice Writer for word processing, Calc for a spreadsheet for calculation, and presentations to impress people. Yeah. It's called Impress. And in Google Docs, it's called Docs, Google Docs. It's called Sheets and it's called Slides. But they all do similar things. It's just a little bit different if you start using it. But if you know that you can work with, let's say, bold letters, italic letters, make headings, etc., that all works the same in those packages, but with a little different touch. But if you've learned one, it's easy to adopt for basic functionality at least. Yeah, your learning curve is very small. Yeah, if you've learned LibreOffice and you need to start working with Microsoft, it's quite easy to switch. But what are we using when? Yeah. So first thing, are you using a PC? If you look at Microsoft Office, it really started with people with a personal computer. So probably that's a good thing because you're behind the desktop or a laptop and you start typing things and you can adjust things. Yeah, that's quite easy because it's focused on using a mouse and a keyboard. That's the same with LibreOffice, but it's different with Google Docs. Yeah. So the first thing is, do you have internet? If you have very fast internet and it's reliable, okay, then maybe Google Docs is a good option. If you don't have that, it's a little bit more difficult because it is designed to have internet. Yeah, you go to Google, and within Google you change things. There are some things that can improve, but that's the basic. Um, and do you want to spend money? Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to spend money, but of course, Microsoft is selling a lot of his products because in the end, maybe some additional functionality is better than in LibreOffice. I suspect if you start with it, it's not the case, but a lot of people are used to work with Microsoft Office, so they're willing to pay some money to continue using that. And the last part is, do you work with a team? Yeah, do you want people to actively work together, show the document on the screen, and people sitting on different locations can adjust together? Yeah, that's one of the powers of Google Docs that you can use. So those are the criteria what you want to use, and of course, hang of it, but it's not. Yeah, this is something we need to decide. But if you want to learn how to work with Office suites, what's the functionality, you can pick any of them. But then, what would be the choice for bright futures? Yeah, if we look at those different options. Well, first of all, you don't have a lot of PCs. Yeah. On the other hand, all the teachers have smartphones, Android smartphones. The other thing is we have limited connections. Yeah, the internet is there, but it's not as reliable as we would like. Yeah, we cannot, and also the power. Yeah, You need to be fully 100% because if you want to do something, it should be there. Yeah, so that can be an issue within Bright Futures. Of course, we want to do it as cheap as possible. Yeah, because we can probably spend our money better on something that gives us more value than just to pick one that we need to pay licenses for. And of course, we want to share standard documents. We want to create documents that we can use and reuse so we can use it together. Looking at this environment, I think the main thing for ourselves to start using it will be Google Docs. Because within Google Docs, we can work also on the Android phones. It's integrated into the Android environment, so we can use it online. And there are some options just to store their information, and probably with a combination of also using a limited number of PCs, because then we can update the documents, we can store them on a central computer, and then we can start reusing it. So that will be my approach where I'm thinking of building that. But in the end, yeah, we will start doing our work just to explain how does Office work, a Office environment work, either if it's Word or Writer or Docs, either if it's Excel or Calc or Sheet. Yeah, the same models work in the same type of documents. So this is a bit of background on the choices that we're working on and what are the different options that we have. And looking at your students, yeah, probably if they go in a working environment in an office, yeah, in an office, a lot of people are using Microsoft Office. But at least we know what the options are and how you can work with it. Yeah, and what is the key of a Office suite of software. Okay, that's all for today. See you next time. But think about what kind of standard documents would we like to have that we can share together. Think about a report that we send to the parents, maybe a lesson plan that we want to have in a standard way, or maybe a certificate that we want to do in a similar way. Because if we start building it and it looks nice and we reuse it, it helps you, it saves you time, and it makes the quality better. Yeah, like I said, it's at least better than my handwriting. So everything that we do on the computer and we create is probably looking much better than that. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.